So we're going to start this practice on our shins. When I say we won't do anything on the knees, that means there won't be any pressure on our knees, right? So we're putting the pressure right now on the shins and the tops of our feet. So go ahead and stretch both arms long in front of you. Bringing your forehead down to your mat. And just take a few breaths here in this child's pose shape. It's very similar to our Sphinx pose that it helps to calm our bodies down. It's also a shoulder stretch and a stretch for our low back. So from here, press into your palms to lift your hips up, then tuck your toes under and send your butt back to your heels. So we just made one little change in how our feet are on the mat. Then walk your hands back to your knees. That will help you to press into your hands, press into your feet to lift your shins and your knees off the mat. In some yoga classes, this is called a full moon pose. So we're going to take a mini flow, moving back and forth between those two shapes. So you walk your hands forward to gently lower your shins down. And then stretch your arms out long to bring your head down. Your toes stay tucked under the whole time. Walk your hands back to your knees so you can press into your toes to lift your shins and your knees off the mat. Two more times like that, moving to your own pace. Gently lower your knees down, stretch your arms long, let your head fall down. When you're ready, last time, walk your hands back to your knees to lift your shins and your knees up. Then from here, press your heels down so you can straighten your legs, coming into a forward fold shape. And from here, you might already feel the stretch in the back of your hamstrings. You're going to take a deep bend into your right knee so you can place your right palm completely flat onto the mat. Bring your left hand to the outside of your shoulder so your elbow points up towards the ceiling. Then straighten your elbow so you reach your left arm up high towards the sky. So left shoulder is working, left back of the left leg is stretching. Bend your left elbow to place your palm back onto your shoulder. Turn your chest down, place the left palm on the mat. So we reverse, bend a deep bend into your left knee. So your left palm is completely flat on the mat. Bring your right hand to the top of your shoulder, right elbow points up towards the ceiling. Then stretch the right arm long towards the ceiling, maybe turn towards that side as well. Bend the right elbow to place your palm back onto your shoulder and bring the right hand all the way down to the mat. So we'll do that one more time, both sides. Right palm is completely flat on the floor. You have a bend into your right knee. Your left palm comes to the outside or inside of your left shoulder. Then straighten your left elbow, reach your left arm towards the ceiling. Bend the left elbow, palm goes back to your shoulder, then lower it all the way down to the floor. Bend your left knee, straighten your right leg, right hand to your shoulder, elbow points up towards the ceiling. Stretch your right arm towards the ceiling, little twist towards the right side. Bend your right elbow, palm back onto your shoulder. Place the palm onto the floor. Then bend both knees to lower your hips back down to your squat shape. Walk your hands forward, keep both knees bent, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So your knees will be about a ruler length, 1 foot. Is that a foot? 12 inches for sure. I'm not sure if it's a foot, but about 12 inches off of the mat. You're pressing into your palms, deep bend into both knees. Let your hips rock left and right, side to side. Then from here, step your right foot forward. Left leg stretches back so you're in a lunge. We've been here before in our classes. We'll take a mini flow, so straighten the right leg. So both legs are straight. We're in our pyramid pose. Then bend your right knee, come back to your lunge. So we'll take a few rounds like that of bending and straightening the right leg, moving from a hamstring stretch to a hip stretch. And then the next time your right knee is bent, keep your left hand on the ground. Right arm comes back to your shoulder, just like we did in our twist. Right elbow points up towards the ceiling, then reach the right arm towards the ceiling. Take a breath. Bring your right hand down. Spin your left heel down. Straighten your right leg. Turn both feet parallel so you're in a wide leg forward fold. Bring your left hand to the center of the mat. Right hand comes back to your shoulder. Elbow points up. Then stretch the right arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, sweep it back down. Left palm comes to your shoulder, lifting left elbow up towards the ceiling. Then allow the left arm, left hand to follow as you stretch up, reach up towards the ceiling with the left arm, left hand. Sweep it back down. Both hands walk over to your right foot. Bring both hands back to center. Walk both hands over to your left foot. Bring both hands back to center. Right foot is going to spin back to your lunge, bend back into your right knee. Left leg stretches long. Gently lower the left knee down just for a moment so you can walk the right foot all the way over to the left side. Then lower your right shin down. So we're in our pigeon pose. Left leg is long. Right shin is parallel. If you're on a mat, it'll be parallel to the front of your mat. Sit your hips down on the right side so you can sweep the left leg back from behind you, coming into a seated cross-leg pose. So we've done our seated cross-leg sequence before. Arms stretched long in front of you like a mummy. Turn and twist towards the left, reach down and give your left knee a hug. Inhale to lift yourself up, twist and turn towards your right. Reach down and give the right knee a hug. Lift yourself back up to come to center, folding over your shins. Bring your forearms down to the floor so you're in your Sphinx pose in the upper half of your body. Legs are in locust. Press into your palms to lift your chest up. So we're going to get out of this the same way we got in. So right shin is going to stay forward. I need to turn back to the side of my mat. So my right shin stays forward, my left leg sweeps long back behind me. So I'm back into my pigeon. I tuck my left toes under to lift my left knee up. And then I walk my right foot back to my lunge. I'm going to step my right foot back to my bent knee down dog. Hold please, because Newark is being really loud in the background. All right. So we just step back to our bent knee down dog. Both knees bent, rock your hips left and right, side to side. Then you step your left foot forward, back to your lunge. Right knee stays lifted. Just shift back. So if at any point, so for those of you that your knees don't bother you, if you want to bring this back knee down to the ground, you can do that. But if you have sensitive knees, then keep the back knee lifted. So we move forward and back, straightening left leg for pyramid pose, and then bending back into your left knee for your lunge. So moving in between these two shapes. Notice how the stretch feels on the outside of your left hip or the back of your hamstrings. You could feel this in a few different places. Take one more round of straightening the left leg. Then bending it, keep your right palm on the ground. Left palm comes to the inside of your shoulder. Elbow points up towards the ceiling. Then straighten the left arm to reach up for your twisted lunge. Exhale, bring the left palm down. Your left foot is going to walk over to the right side. So you can lower your left shin down for your pigeon on the left. Press into your palms to lift your chest. This is a very deep stretch for the outside of the hip. So notice where you feel this stretch. And bring your left hip down. Right leg sweeps in front so you're back into your seated cross leg. From here, interlace your fingers in front of your chest. Turn your palms out and lift up, reach up towards the ceiling. Lean over towards one side. And come back to center. Lean towards your opposite side. Bring it back to center. Separate your fingers, give them a little wiggle up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, fold forward over your shins, bringing both forearms down to the mat. So upper body is in Sphinx, lower body is in Locust. Press into your palms to lift your chest up. Then we get out of this the same way we got in. So left shin is going to stay in front this time. I'm just going to turn back to my side. Then I sweep the right leg back behind me, so I'm back in pigeon. I tuck my right toes under to lift the right knee up. And that helps me to lift up my left leg so I can bring the left leg back to a lunge. Spin the right heel down. Straighten the left leg. Turn both toes into each other. I'm just going to turn around so my back is not facing you. But we're back to our wide leg forward fold. Right palm stays onto the mat. Left palm comes to the inside of your shoulder. Turn your elbow up. Then reach the arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale to bring it down. Right palm comes to your shoulder. Turn your elbow up. Twist your chest. Then reach your arm up. Exhale, lower it down. Both hands walk over to your right foot. And hang back at center, back at the middle. Walk both hands over to your left foot. While your hands are near your left foot, you're going to pick up our left foot and spin it towards the left side, so you're back into a lunge on the left. Step your left foot back to meet the right. So we're in down dog just for a moment. Bend your knees back to your bent knee, down dog. And gently rock your hips left and right, side to side. Gently lower down to your knees and your shins. Untuck your toes. Send your hips all the way back to rest onto your heels. Your forearms come down to the mat so that they're parallel, shoulder distance apart. Fingers are nice and wide so your palms are completely flat onto the mat. And lift your chest any amount, Sphinx pose. Notice if your shoulders are shrugging up towards your ears, keep pulling them down. And from here, press into your palms to lift your hips up. And have a seat. We'll come into a Z sit. So what that looks like is right shin is bent in front of you. Left shin is bent along the side of you. Bring your left palm down to the mat. Right arm lifts up and over your head. Take a nice big long stretch. Exhale to twist both hands down onto the mat. Press into your palms. Maybe you turn to look over left shoulder. Then start to sweep your right arm up towards the ceiling, taking it over towards the right side. As soon as the right palm touches, the left arm follows, making a big sweeping circle. And bring the left hand down. Turn to twist. Start to sweep the left arm back up towards the ceiling. Pause here for a moment. Press into the right hand to lift your hips up. Exhale, lower back down. Both hands come back behind you so you can bring both feet down to the mat and just let your knees fall left and right, side to side. And then with both feet on the mat, both hands back behind you, press into your palms, press into your feet to lift your hips up for reverse tabletop. If it feels okay for your neck, you can let your head roll back, but you can always just keep looking forward towards your knees with your chin tucked into your chest if that feels weird on the back of your neck. Now, everyone tuck your chin into your chest to lower your hips back down to the mat. And then we'll take the reverse Z sit. So left shin comes in front, right shin is bent along your side. Left palm is on the mat, right arm makes a nice big sweeping circle all the way over to your left side. And place that hand down, press into both palms, turn to look over shoulder. Right arm is going to make a sweeping circle all the way over to right side as soon as the right palm touches down. Bring your left arm to follow. And turn to twist once both palms reach the mat. Left arm lifts back towards the ceiling, placing left palm on the mat. Right arm lifts up, straight up. Press into left palm to lift your hips off the mat. Reach back. And exhale, gently lower down. Both hands come back behind you so you can bring your feet to the floor. And let your knees drop left and right, side to side. A little gentle stretch for the hips. Now one more time, both hands come back behind you. Press into your palms, press into your feet, lift your hips. For your reverse tabletop, let the head roll back if that feels okay for your neck. Opening up through the front of the throat. If you're not there already, tuck your chin into your chest, gently lower your hips down to the mat. And then go ahead and gently roll onto your back, hugging both knees into your chest. And let your knees gently rock left and right, side to side. Give yourself a little back massage. And then place both feet down onto the mat. Your left knee is going to lift up closer to your chest. Take that knee out to the side. Make really big circles with your left knee. So we have a few options here. As we're making circles with the left knee, our right leg is just going to be still. So you decide if you want to keep a bend into your right knee, or do you want to straighten the right leg long, which I don't have enough space to straighten my leg. There we go. So right knee, right leg can either be straight or it can have a bend in it. You decide. But in the meantime, whatever the right leg is doing, just hanging out in space, resting, relaxing. Make sure you keep making clockwise and counterclockwise circles with your left knee. And straighten your left leg up towards the ceiling and take a few rounds of bending and straightening your left knee. The next time the left knee is bent, let it fall out towards the left side. And then bring the left knee all the way over to the right, so you take a little twist. So we'll move back and forth to taking that knee wide out to the left. And then bringing it all the way over to the right. And then the next time the knee is wide out to the left, just rest it completely down onto the mat. If your right leg is not straight already, go ahead and straighten it. And you can bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of your right leg. So we'd be in a reclined tree pose for those that are familiar with yoga and tree pose. So listen here, this time left leg stays where it is. Bend your right knee. Bring the sole of your right foot and your left foot together. So your knees are open in a reclined butterfly shape. This is a nice stretch for the outside of our hips and our inside of our thighs. So go ahead and hug right knee into your chest. Left foot can be flat on the floor or stretch the left leg long. Start to take your right knee in circles clockwise and counterclockwise. And as you circle out, notice what's happening in your right hip. So you're moving the ball of your femur, the largest muscle, bone that's in your thigh, and you're moving that around in your hip socket. So notice how that feels. And then bring the knee back to center. Go ahead and bend and straighten the right knee, lifting the leg up towards the ceiling. And it doesn't have to be completely straight. You can still have a little bend into the knee. And then keeping the knee bent, go ahead and take the right knee over to the left side, crossing the body. And then take it out wide towards the right. So move back and forth like that, almost like we're opening and closing a door, or we are one half of a windshield wiper with our right knee. And then the next time the knee is all the way over to your right side, just rest your knee, your lower leg, your foot down onto the mat. You can walk your right foot closer to the inside of the left leg, so foot touches your leg. But listen here, right leg stays where it is. Bend your left knee to bring the soles of both feet together back to our reclined butterfly shape. And from here, take the hands on the outside of your legs to draw your knees closer together. And this time, knees stay together as your feet walk out wide apart. Walk your feet back underneath your knees. Hug both knees into your chest. And let your knees fall all the way over to the left side. They can rest completely flat onto the floor. And if it feels okay for your neck, you're going to turn your head away from your knees to look over towards the right. We're going to hang out in this shape for a few breaths. So just relax here. If you'd like to, you can close your eyes and just breathe. And when you're ready, go ahead and turn your head back so it's in the same direction as your knees. Lift your knees up to the ceiling to roll back onto your back. Then let your knees fall over to the right. and rest them completely flat onto the mat. Turn your head away from your knees so you look over towards the left. And your arms can be resting wherever feels comfortable for you. So we'll take a few breaths twisting to our left. If it feels okay for you, you can rest your eyes, closing them just for a few breaths. When you're ready, turn your head back in the same direction as your knees. Roll back onto your back. From here, stretch your arms long above your head so you reach for the wall that's behind you, and stretch your legs long in front of you so you stretch your toes towards the wall that's in front of you. We call this a good morning stretch, feeling everything lengthen from your tippy toes to your fingertips. Bend your knees, hug them into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins if that's accessible to you. On your next exhale, stretch your legs long in front of you. Reach your arms over your head. Back to your good morning stretch. Take another inhale, draw your knees into your belly, wrapping your arms around your shins. Last time, stretch your arms and your legs long away from each other. Spread your fingers wide, spread your toes wide. Point the toes to lengthen your feet forward. And this time as you exhale, just lower your arms by your sides. Keep your legs long. You can keep your arms by your sides, or you can rest one palm on your belly, one palm on your chest. And starting by our feet, we'll do a body scan meditation to close out the movement part of our practice. So start to relax and calm your breath. Take your attention to your heels. Feeling them press into the surface beneath you. Press into the floor, grounding you down. Feel your lower legs on the floor. Feeling the muscles in the calf muscles resting on the floor. Notice the space between the backs of your knees and the floor. Become aware of the backs of the thighs and your glute muscles pressing into the surface beneath you. As we move up our back, notice the space that's in between your low back, your lumbar spine, and the floor. That part of your spine curves up and away from the floor. And notice the middle back, the back of your rib cage, backs of your shoulder blades, all of that pressing into the floor. Notice the curve of the back of your neck, lifting up and away from the floor. The same shape as your low back spine, your lumbar spine. The last thing we feel pressing into the floor is the back of our head. Feeling fully connected and grounded. The surface below us, supports our spine. Take your attention to palms resting on belly and chest. With each inhale and exhale, feeling the movement of your hands, feeling the movement of breath, feeling the movement of life. We'll be even more intentional about that movement as you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Make some circles with your ankles and your wrists. Hug your knees into your chest one more time. Maybe wrapping your arms all the way around your legs, lifting your forehead up to touch your knees, giving yourself a big hug, big squeeze. Showing yourself some love for making it to your mat. Moving your body in a mindful, loving way. Rest your head down, rest your shoulders down, and roll over onto one side. And take a breath here for a moment. And use your hands to lift yourself back up to a seat.